Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, welcome. I would like to start by saying that we have interpretation, so channel 1 is Arabic, channel 2 is English. So please kindly take your seats, and you can adjust the volume as well from the devices. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my greatest pleasure to welcome you all to this high-level roundtable. My name is Mauro Miedico. I am Deputy Director at the Office of Counter-Terrorism of the United Nations. I am most pleased and honored to be moderating this high-level session, and it's with greatest pleasure and honor that I would like to welcome His Excellency Minister Sultan bin Saud Al Muraki, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs of the State of Qatar. Your Honorable, Your Excellency, thank you so much for being with us, and I would like to give immediately the floor to you.
Thank you so much. I think you need channel 2 to understand what I'm saying. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of Allah, most merciful, most compassionate. Excellency Mr. Miguel Angel Moratinos, in the participation in the organization of this event, in addition to the UNAOC, the UNICRI, and the ICSS. I would like to seize this opportunity at the beginning of my speech today to confirm that Qatar's strategy in order to combat and suppress extremism, violent extremism, focuses mainly on the role of young men and women through education, increasing economic opportunities, and through sports. We have based ourselves on the belief in Qatar that sports is a very good field for coexistence, for a better world. That is why we are promoting sports in order to enhance the ability of youth to combat crime and violence, including countering extremism, violent extremism that leads to terrorism. I would like to say that Qatar understands the full power of transformative forces in sports and is trying its best to use these forces. Qatar is one of the main donors and financing parties of the UNOCT, and we are all very proud of Qatar's financing of the international program for promoting sports and its values in order to counter violent extremism. This program aims at countering violent extremism by building flexibility and resilience among young people. It also supports awareness raising among member states in order to combat terrorism and combat common threats and risks of high-level sports events, and works on combating these threats, as we are aware of our common responsibility as an international community to protect major sporting events from any terrorist threats, since we consider these events for the good of humanity. The UNICRI, based in Doha, that is affiliated with the is one of the main initiatives that we are focusing on. It is an international platform to foster knowledge on behavior, to counter terrorism, and to spread good practices, and to establish a professional network of experts, academics, practitioners.
And the importance of a series of youth fora and other important initiatives on which you are taking the lead is really critical for the success of the program. Thank you so much, Mr. Moratinos. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mauro. Thank you, Your Excellency, my dear friend, Mr. Sultan bin Saud Al Murahi, Minister of State of Foreign Affairs of Qatar, and of course, Your Excellency, my dear friend, Under Secretary General Vladimir Voronkov, Office of Counterterrorism. Distinguished guests and partners, I wish to start by saying that I'm truly happy that we finally met in person as partners in this amazing program that we launched together almost 2 years ago. And I congratulate you, my friend, and the Secretary General, Vladimir Voronkov, and all your team for organizing this roundtable with our host, the government of Qatar. United Nations Alliance of Civilization, UNOSC, is certainly extremely proud for its partnership with UNOCT, UNICRI, and ICSS, and other civil society organizations in this important program. I also take the opportunity to applaud the government of the State of Qatar, the People's Republic of China, to related societies. Sport serves as a vector to promote diversity, inclusion, mutual respect, and nurturing a culture of peace among people and nations. But most of all, sport teaches us of humility. These values are rooted in the mission of the United Nations Alliance of Civilization. There are humanistic principles that should guide our action on a day-to-day basis, not just as one feel-good action. Instilling such values, especially in youth at an early age, will contribute to nurturing a sense of belonging and inclusion that help in cementing social cohesion, which are essential elements in the fight against violent extremism conducive to terrorism. At UNOSC, we have recognized the power of sport, so I included it as one of the priorities of UNOSC Action Plan 2019-2023. Since then, we have initiated new partnerships with renowned soccer clubs and sport entities, including UNOSC has also initiated new partnerships with renowned soccer clubs like Fundación Club Atlético de Madrid, La Liga, Global Association of Sport Federation, the International Jump Rope Union, World Dodgeball Association, International Judo Federation, and Beach Soccer Foundation, spreading the UNOSC motto, One Humanity campaign. I'm pleased that our advisor for a sport event is with us today, Mr. Joan Cuzco, who brings with him more than 25 years of experience in organizing and promoting a sport event, thanks to his broad network within the sport community. Through this program, UNOSC, in partnership with UNOCT, UNICRI, and ICSS, developed a handbook on preventing violent extremism through major sporting events, a handbook for organizers, as part of the multi-year global program on security of major sporting events and promotion of sport and its value as a tool to prevent violent extremism. The handbook aims to support organizers of major sporting events, including sport governing bodies, organizing committees and governments at all levels, national, regional, and local actors, to take joint measures aimed at preventing violent extremism by leveraging the positive values of sport. Since major sporting events serve as a platform for disseminating messages of mutual respect and tolerance, fostering social inclusion, and reducing socioeconomic inequality. Member states are considered essential elements in the sport culture across the globe that involve various public and private actors and could reach a broad spectrum of people from diverse societies, religion, region, and culture. The handbook also explores how to promote, prevent, and react to PVE during and after a major sport event. A life cycle scheme will help understand when to take action in the life cycle of a major sport event, ranging from the vision to the legacy. My office has shared the draft of the handbook with the Global Compact PCVA Working Group for their input and comment, and we hope that the final version will be ready soon. In the same vein, it is important to meaningfully engage young people in the design and implementation of sport-based PVE initiative and policy. Many of those programs and policies target youth as beneficiaries of vulnerable population, and the implementation directly affects them. If we don't include youth voices, for example, in the design and implementation of the National Action Plan to prevent violent extremism, our efforts become less impactful and nearly irrelevant. Without listening to their voices and including their perspective, we will never achieve the aspired level of sustainable peace. We need to continue raising awareness among policymakers on the power of young people in peace building and PCVA through programs like this one. Therefore, UNICRI, in collaboration with the partners, plans to organize a MENA Youth Forum in Rabat, Morocco, from the 13th until the 16th of June 2022. We considered organizing the Youth Forum a few months ago, but the travel restriction imposed at the time didn't allow such in-person event. The forum will be built on the power of sport to amplify youth participation in national and regional PVE strategy and reaffirm the important role youth bring to the table in fostering sustainable peace and development in the MENA region. The choice of the venue was not coincidental, since Morocco hosts the 2022 Africa Women Cup of Nations from the 2 to the 23rd of July 2022, which provides a great opportunity to discuss how to leverage such major sport event to integrate the sport in its value as a tool to break barriers between cultures and religion and prevent violent extremism, and how to foster inclusion and parity, particularly gender parity. We look forward to seeing you all in June 2022 in Morocco. I wish to conclude by recalling the UN General Assembly Resolution A-73-24, which reminds us that the sport, the arts, and physical activity have the power to change perception, prejudices, and behavior, as well as to inspire people, break down racial and political barriers, combat discrimination, and diffuse conflict. As such, the power of sport should be harnessed to its fullest and cannot and should not be politicized. Thank you very much, and I hope that Qatar will the World Cup or Spain. But that will be the two possibilities.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much, Undersecretary General Moratinos, and thanks to all of your staff for the greatest contribution and partnership we have between our office and the UN Alliance for Civilization. It is my greatest honor to turn now to my boss, to Undersecretary General Vladimir Voronkov, Undersecretary General of the Office of Counterterrorism. Dear Mr. Voronkov, please.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United Nations Office of Counterterrorism, it's my great honor to welcome you to the high-level roundtable discussion on the protection of major sporting events and the use of sports values for the prevention of violent extremism. It's my great pleasure to speak after His Excellency Mr. Al-Muaraki and His Excellency Miguel Moratinos, a good friend of mine. We are working together for a long period of time. I am proud to present the results that we were able to achieve despite the COVID-19 pandemic that descended on the world shortly after we formally launched the Global Sports Program at the United Nations headquarters in New York 2 years ago. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the State of Qatar for its generosity in hosting this event on the margins of the prestigious Doha Forum, which is so fitting considering Qatar's prominent role in hosting international sporting events such as the FIFA Arab Cup and Qatar Grand Prix last year, and of course the 2022 FIFA World Cup later this year. I wish also to thank the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy in promoting the use of sport and its values. which has contributed so much to the success of our global sports program, conducted in partnerships with the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute, UNICRI, the United Nations Alliance of Civilization, and the International Center for Sport Security. Today we are presenting two guides for policy and decision makers dedicated to planning the security of major sporting events and leveraging sport and its values to pursue the objectives of preventing violent extremism. In addition, we are endorsing a plan for a global awareness campaign aiming at promoting sports' positive and inclusive values as counter-narratives to the violent and hateful ideologies disseminated by terrorist and violent extremist groups. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me also take this opportunity to highlight the crucial role played by the nearly 200 national focal points for the success of the global sports program. The contributions made by national focal points are vital to sharing practical knowledge and expertise so that the global program can provide technical assistance for the security of major sporting events and the operationalization of sport-based initiatives within national action plans on prevention of violent extremism conducive to terrorism. I thank you for your attention and participation in this event.
Thank you very much, Undersecretary General Foronko, for presenting the very innovative program that we have developed with our partners. I understand you have to excuse yourself, so thank you for being with us. And as you leave us, I would like to launch a video that is actually presenting the key achievements and the vision that is inspiring the program. Thank you again, Mr. Fronkov, and let us watch the video together, please.
And their values. The United Nations Office of Counterterrorism launched the Global Sports Programme in February 2020 in partnership with the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute, the United Nations Alliance of Civilization, and the International Center for Sport Security. The aim being to address the goals of improving major sporting events security and promoting the use of sports values to build resilience regarding violent extremism. Together with its co-implementing partners, the Global Sports Programme has a number of projects in its sports security and PVE workstreams aimed at supporting its sports values ambitions. At the heart of the Global Sports Programme is its national focal point networks, consisting of stakeholders nominated by member states to facilitate implementation of projects related to sports security and prevention of violent extremism around the globe. National focal points in the sports security workstream include representatives from Ministries of Internal Affairs, Intelligence, Public Safety and Security, while those in the PVE workstream include representatives from Ministries of Social Affairs, Physical Education, Sports and Youth. The Global Sports Programme offers two high-level guides aimed at informing policymakers of proven frameworks and good practices for maintaining major sporting event safety, as well as integrating sports values-based initiatives into national PVE action plans.
marka waxaan dareensanahay faa'iidooyinka ay ciyaaraha u leeyihiin dhalinyarada gaar ahaan dumarka bas waa wixii aan ku soo barbaaray wax ku bartay waxyaalo badan iyo jido badan oo khaldan iga badbaadiyay waxa muhiim ah inay dhisaan caqligooda iyo shirkooda inay noqdaan dad cod leh oo waxa khaldan iyo waxa xun kala sheegi kara in ay yihiin dad aqoontoodu aad u wanaagsananayso because caafimaadkoodii ayaa gaarsiinaya inay markasta ka hadlaan waxa wanaagsan ama waxa caafimaadku ku jiro.
The Global Sports Programme recognises the role that civil society actors play in promoting safety and security through sports. Support of CSOs remains an integral part of the programme, as organic change in communities is an important element in building sustainable resilience against extremism. Sports participation, embracing sportsmanship values, reach far beyond the pitch. Young people learn that when the whistle blows, the true winners are those who treat their opponents with respect and gratitude.
Sport unites us. It speaks to us in a language which we can all understand. It is for this reason that sport is a powerful tool against hate narratives and violent ideologies. Individuals' social-emotional learning based on sport values is critical for cognitive skills development and fostering consciousness, which are critical for tolerant and positive behaviors. The most effective remedy to defend youth from the causes of violent extremism and negative messaging.
We hope that you join the Global Sports Programme in its mission to stand up to violent threats posed to major sporting events and to promote sports values-based initiatives for PVE goals. By working together, we can show the world why sports is more than just a game.
I hope that this video gave you a flavor of the very important mission and already important achievements that the program has met. It is now my pleasure to turn to the two other speakers of this introductory session, who are the representative of the two other very important partners we have under the program. I would like first to go to my dear friend, Mr. Massimiliano Montanari, who is the chairman of the International Center of Sports Security, which is based here in Qatar. And I particularly recognize the work of ICSS as the mastermind behind this guide, which is one of the most important outcomes of the security stream of the program, which is the global guide on the security of major sporting events. Thank you for joining us, Massimiliano. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mauro, for giving me the floor, and most importantly for the friendship. Now since a long time. Excellencies, Mr. Moratino, my friend Life, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, while the ICSS is turning 10 years of life in these days, we are delighted to be here today next to partners whose friendship, trust and support have been crucial since the very first steps we took as an organization. So namely the state of Qatar, our host country, and the United Nations, in particular the UN Office of Counterterrorism, the United Nations Alliance for Civilization, and the UN Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute. We are very proud for having been chosen by the UN to develop and to implement as one team the global program whose results are being presented today, and of course by the state of Qatar as its main donor of the program, jointly with the People's Republic of China and the Republic of Korea, for the opportunity to be involved in and contribute to the security preparations of the 2022 FIFA World Cup and other important sporting events which took place in the country. There is no doubt that the journey undertaken by Qatar towards the World Cup and the vision behind the Games and the capacity of its leadership to act consistently with this vision, regardless of the global challenges which has affected in these years the whole international community, have inspired our work. The ICSS feels proud to have shared its knowledge and mobilized its community to build a program which we believe represent a precious high-level orientation and support for nations preparing to host major sporting events, from the very initial decision to bid for an event till the promotion of its legacy. And we are ready to continue to do so with tireless efforts, because major sporting events represent a common good for all nations, a unique catalyst for change, and a staging area for global citizens. If planned with open minds and open hearts, major sporting events offer an opportunity to narrow gaps, to integrate the most vulnerable people by bringing opportunities such as employability within underprivileged communities, including those at risk of violent extremism. By mobilizing volunteers and funds from all around the world, these events promote a common sense of belonging and a common understanding of fundamental principles and values. Protecting them and their social dimension means, therefore, protecting an important portion of our future, the future we want. A future made of sport-minded people who knows that the opponent is not the enemy, because in sport we need to have an opponent to enjoy the spirit of the competition, overcome our limits, learn from success and from failure. Major sporting events provide an answer, even if sometimes just temporary, to the demand of international dialogue, togetherness and peace. With this vision in mind, and taking advantage of the presence of our partners, first of all, but also of so many decision makers here in Doha, at the Doha Forum, and of many leaders in football who are going to join us in Doha for the FIFA Congress, let me table the idea to promote, on the occasion of the next General Assembly of the United Nations, just 2 months before the World Cup in Qatar, the concept of a football truce, similarly to what the international community has been doing with positive outcomes since 1992 on the eve of the Olympic Games. Esteemed colleagues, amongst all major events, the geopolitical impact of a football World Cup has very few equals. We should not miss this opportunity and take advantage of its power to bring hope where there is still despair, to address the causes which fuel extremism, to put an end to violence and conflicts regardless of their nature and latitude. Ladies and gentlemen, also on behalf of my chairman and my team at the ICSS, I thank you for your attention and I wish you a fruitful continuation of the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Massimiliano, for your magnificent support, and if I may, those of the Ministry of Interior of Qatar for the strongest contribution we got on the security stream of this program. I would like now to turn to our next panelist, who is Mr. Leif Villadsen, who is the Deputy Director of the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute, better known as UNICRI, whose expertise and support, particularly in engaging at the grassroots level with civil society organizations, has been an invaluable support for the achievement of many of our products. Thank you, Leif, for being with us, and please, you have the floor.
Thanks a lot, Mauro, and good to see you again after, I think, 2 or 3 years. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. It's a real pleasure to represent the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute, UNICRI, at this high-level roundtable. As part of such a distinguished keynote session, I extend my admiration to all the speakers. We are extremely proud to be part of this excellent collaboration among all the partners of the global program on security of major sporting events and promotion of sport and its values as a tool to prevent violent extremism, including the United Nations Office of Counterterrorism, the United Nations Alliance for Civilizations, and the International Center for Sports Security. My deep appreciation also goes to the state of Qatar for hosting this event and for its continued support to the United Nations in promoting progress in the field of sport and prevention of violent extremism. Our common initiatives are an excellent example of how working as one UN can foster a holistic approach to support the strategy of the Global Counter-Terrorism Coordination Compact. Within the global program on security of major sporting events, UNICRI lends its expertise as a UN research and training institute in the field of criminal justice and crime prevention. We are implementing activities based on our expert know-how, drawn from our successful modus operandi, lessons learned, best practices, and technical tools in the field of major event security and prevention of violent extremism over the last 2 decades. For example, UNICRI's regional cooperation model is the basis for the global network of national focal points who are appointed by all the beneficiary member states to represent their needs vis-à-vis the program. This network facilitates bilateral, multilateral, and regional exchange of expertise, lessons learned, best practices, and resources, which is one of the global program's main objectives. At the same time, UNICRI's expertise in capacity building with civil society contributed to the global program's grant scheme. Through the grant scheme, UNICRI is supporting 10 civil society and youth-led organizations worldwide in places as diverse as Colombia, Costa Rica, Uganda, Cameroon, and Lebanon, just to mention a few examples, to implement small projects on sports and PVE. In a world in which sport is increasingly used to disseminate positive messages, this initiative aims to fill a gap in the literature and specifically to analyze how sport can contribute to preventing violent extremism. UNICRI's monitoring and evaluation will improve understanding and increase the capacity of the international community to design comprehensive and impactful PVE strategies. Lastly, the essential principle UNICRI has identified for major event security, namely promoting human rights, gender equality, and accountability in security strategies, utilizing whole-of-government approaches for security planning, building effective and reliable public-private partnership, and engaging communities are the foundation of the technical assistance framework of the global program on security of major sporting events. UNICRI's security planning and capacity building methodology, formally recognized by ECOSOC Resolution 2006/28, have been instrumental in supporting member states to identify resources, design planning structures, and implementing planning policies and security processes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud that 3 of UNICRI's strategic approaches, enhancing regional and interregional cooperation, strengthening resilience of global communities, and increasing capacity through technical assistance, are being used to advance the goals of the global program on security of major sporting events. I think today's events reminds us how together, each contributing within our expertise and our mandate, we are improving collective understanding of how we can safeguard and protect sport at the same time as we use the powerful values of sport to prevent violent extremism. I think this is truly a win-win approach. I thank you for your attention, and I wish you all an engaging discussion. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you very much, Leif, also for reminding the other very important outcome of this program, which is the forthcoming guide on the use of sports and its values to prevent violent extremism. The guide will be available shortly and will be printed in the next weeks. We've come to the end of this initial session, and I would like now particularly to turn the floor to my dear colleague, Mr. Valerio De Divitis, who, under my guidance, coordinates the global program. I think we have a very significant panel who brings together some concrete examples on how the program is effectively supporting member states, civil society organizations, and sports federations, both on securing major sporting events, but also on fostering more community resilience from violent extremism ideologies. So thank you, and I turn the floor to you, Valerio, for the next session.
Thank you very much, Mauro. Thank you very much, dear colleagues, friends. It is with a great emotion I'm taking the floor today, seeing how our global sports program is growing. It took a very concrete shape, and finally we're able to celebrate certain achievements possible. Great thanks to our cooperation, and thanks to the very strategic partnership we established over the course of the past 2 years. So very happy to move to this session to present what are some of the tangible achievements and results produced by the program so far, knowing that this is that we're still a long way to go to keep working hard for both work streams of our program to grow, the one related to the security of major sporting events and, of course, the one related to the use of sport values for the prevention of violent extremism. So without overdoing, let me turn to Caroline Ekoko, our guest, friend, representative of Local Youth Corner, an NGO from Cameroon, part of the broader set of NGOs entrusted by the Global Sports Program to run a series of initiatives, projects at the level of the community for the benefit of the communities, in particular children, by using sports, its values, for fostering the resiliency to violent extremism. Local Youth Corner is a leading national youth-led peace-building and youth development organization in Cameroon, operating in very sensitive contexts, often affected by conflicts, and they created a very innovative response to address the social challenges and to turn grievances, in particular among children, into positive factors for their cognitive development. Caroline, thanks for being with us today. The floor is yours.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you very much, Valerio, for giving me the floor. And just like you said, I come from Cameroon, and I represent Local Youth Corner Cameroon, a civil society existing since the year 2002. And we work specifically with youth, promoting sustainable development, empowerment of youth in peace building, and countering violent extremism. So Local Youth Corner works specifically in conflict-sensitive zones, like in the far north region of Cameroon, in the northwest region, and in the southwest region, where we have currently the Anglophone crisis going on. The far north, the Boko Haram crisis. So we use different approaches in working, such as sports, where since the year 2016, we have had more than 10 Sports for Peace initiatives carried out throughout the entire territory with the community, as well as part of our rehabilitation and reinsertion programs with violent offenders in prisons. Today, at this level where we are happy to be part of the beneficiaries of this project, of this initiative, because the program has helped us to have improved access to knowledge on the technical guide, because since we started our initiatives, we have had challenges such as resources to finance our projects, technical guide, but also the appropriate tools to be able to carry out our initiatives. Being part of the beneficiaries of this project has really given us an opportunity to have access to the guide, and also to produce a context-specific guide. And we are grateful for this opportunity. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you very much for sharing some insights, and we look forward to learning more, to know about more technical details, how we are overcoming the challenges, how is actually taking shape the initiative, where is the particular, at what point of the particular project we could probably also come and assess to Cameroon. We are looking forward to running also an assessment of the initiative. We already received some preliminary findings, We know the project is running very well, and we also know that it will be a great basin of information to learn, to draw some recommendation that can be also informative for other initiatives across the region, so that can be also a multiplier of other, again, project and initiative for the benefit of the communities across the region. Thank you very much, Caroline, for being with us today. Let me now move to our next guest, Kato Seka, apologies, Director of the Integrated Community Development Initiative based in Uganda, another of the organizations entrusted by the Global Sports Program, running a project on the ground, Uganda. Please, Kato, the floor is yours. Would you switch off the microphone, please? Switch on.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, all leaders present today, protocol observed. Good evening to you all. I'm the Executive Director of a non-government organization called Integrated Community Development Initiative, and we are happy to have received a grant through this Global Sports Program supported by United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute with other partners. Our aim of the organization is to reduce on high levels of poverty and illiteracy plus food insecurity among the rural and urban poor communities in Uganda, but also we've been conducting and promoting peace-building initiatives in the refugee camp in Nakiva Refugee Settlement and surrounding host communities. Nakiva Refugee Settlement is one of the biggest refugee settlements in Uganda and I think across Africa, with 1.4 million refugees, and about 65% of them are youth. And the country itself is composed of, Uganda has a population of around 34 million people, where about also around 58% of us are youth. So there has been incidences of violence in communities, in refugee settlement because of differences among youth. They come from different countries with different cultures, different religious identities, and of course with different political ideologies. And we have seen that there has been constant violence cases, which has led to some of the youth in the refugee camp to die. There has also been hatred between the refugee populations and the local populations, which has been fronted by youth. So ever since we started our programming of using sports, and which has been strengthened through this Global Grants Program, we've been able to gather the youth together, involve them into different sports activities to promote their knowledge, to promote social inclusion, and working together as a team. So through this grant program, we've seen that there's the promotion of social inclusion between the refugee youth and the youth from the host communities. We've seen in the first quarter of our project implementation that there is reduced incidences of fights, violence, and hatred among the refugee populations, which have been fronted by youth. And there has been reduced radicalization and violent extremism cases. So we are happy to continue building this initiative throughout the refugee camps in Uganda, and also in schools, because we know that if we really want to promote the sustainability of this program, we have to include schools. We have schools that do host refugee students and locals, so we want to see how we can train the teachers, schools teachers and administrators to incorporate sports and PVE programs in schools' educational curriculum, so that we can continue empowering teachers and administrators to keep transferring the knowledge of sports and PVE to their students. And in this, we know that it's going to promote sustainability of sporting and of sports and prevention of violent extremism. We have also seen that implementing this project in the refugee camp through using sports has led to so many other achievements. We've used sports alongside promoting intercultural and interreligious dialogues, And through that, we've been able to bring youth together to discuss and try to like remove or reduce all those cultural and religious differences. We've also been able to use the sports platforms to promote entrepreneurship, because we know that in Africa, what is really driving most of the youth into radicalization and violent extremism is poverty. And we know that some of them, we have seen them being recruited into violent extremism activities through giving them some tips of small monies. So we've used sports as a platform to also train these most at-risk youth by equipping them with entrepreneurship skills as they do sports. After sports activities, we also train them into acquiring entrepreneurship skills so that they don't only do sports to prevent PVE, to prevent violent extremism, but they can also use sports to learn other skills that can help them to acquire sources like acquire food, acquire some incomes to look after their family. Thank you very much.
Cato, thank you very much for the comprehensive description of the project, how it's unfolding. We look forward to traveling to Uganda to learn more, to really have the opportunity to learn also from your experience and to showcase this maybe during one of the youth fora we mentioned earlier today, because I'm sure there will be many lessons and expertise that can be shared and applicable also in other contexts. So thank you very much for your work. Now let me turn to next speaker. I'm very pleased to introduce Mercedes Quesada, the intelligence officer from the National Security Directorate of the Republic of Costa Rica. Mercedes is one of the members of the National Focal Points Network, a network of national officers we established in the context of our program. We have 195 national focal points representing member states vis-à-vis the program activities for both work streams of our program. So Mercedes is one of the members of the work stream dedicated to the security of major sporting events, while the other set of the National Focal Points Network includes representatives dedicated to the prevention of violent extremism through sports, typically from Ministries of Social Affairs, Sport, Youth Development. So Mercedes, who's been very engaged with our program since the beginning, is our focal point for Costa Rica, with whom we are working closely towards the security planning of the Women Sub-20 FIFA World Cup scheduled in Costa Rica in August this year. Please, Mercedes, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Valerio. Good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. So, as Valerio said, I'm from Costa Rica, and I'm the national focal point for the sports program. And I would like to share with you our experience as beneficiaries of the sports program. Costa Rica has successfully hosted major events, sports and otherwise, but since our interaction with the program, capacity building has been a key result. The expertise and the knowledge from the trainings that we have received has enhanced the tools that we already had for a better performance on our behalf. Also, thanks to the program, we were able to exchange knowledge and best practices with another country within our region that was also hosting, for the first time, a major sporting event since the pandemic, which was El Salvador. They were hosting the Central American Games. It turns out that now they are not able to host them, and probably we are going to host those games as well. But initially, we were exchanging information and experiences since we were both going through a very similar situation. The global guide on the security of major sporting events has also oriented us in one of our goals, which is to establish a national level protocol for attending the security aspects of these major events. Of course, every agency knows what they have to do and how to do it, but we are working on everybody knowing what each other is doing and knowing how we can complement one another. And the guide has been a starting point for that. Beyond the trainings and the guide and the interaction with the program itself, we have encountered more unexpected results. For example, awareness and credibility. Costa Rica is not what you would consider a likely target for a terrorist attack, but some of the events that we host and the delegations that participate in such events might be. So having the support of the program has helped us raise awareness on that fact. If a UN program is behind this idea, then everybody's thinking, okay, maybe we shouldn't let our guard down and be aware of this situation or of this possibility. And as a consequence of that, the matter itself has gained credibility. The program and the support of the program has given us the convening power in order to gather all the public key stakeholders on the security aspects of these major events. For the first time, we were able to gather everybody for the planning or the security planning of a sports event, not a diplomatic one, which is more normal, but we were able to gather everyone for the planning of a sporting event. And that was because we were having a visit for a technical assistance with the UN, the ICSS, and the UNICRI. So everybody attended to this event. And it was because of that, because it was a result of our interaction with the program. So just to summarize, basically the knowledge from the trainings, the advisory of the guide, the technical assistant visit, and just having the support of the program have provided all major agencies with the necessary tools to enhance our already existing capacities in order to shield not only upcoming major events, but the country as a whole to the best of our current abilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your hard work, and to all the colleagues from Costa Rica. It's such a pleasure to cooperate with all of you, and I think the experience of Costa Rica this year can definitely become a model for other countries in the region in the months and the years to come. So again, thanks Mercedes for being with us, for being an excellent colleague. Same as an excellent colleague is Christian Emerua. I'm very happy to introduce Christian, who is the head of safety and security for the Confederation of African Football. Very experienced FIFA security officer. We started a very interesting journey last year with the CAF, the Confederation of African Football, in support of the security setting for the AFCON, the African Cup of Football that took place in Cameroon last year. But also, let me remark the increasing cooperation concerning sports values used for the prevention of violent extremism, which keeps growing and will be also unfolding through an event in Morocco in July this year on the margins of the Women African Cup of Football taking place in Morocco in July this year, because of the CAF also pays particular attention to the social responsibility across the continent. Thanks, Chris, for being with us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Valerio, and Your Excellencies, thank you very much. And it's good to be physically here to see each and every one of you after some years that we have been unable to see ourselves. I would want to start by saying that it's nice to give a short brief about how we came into this program, and thanks to the ICSS, Massimiliano, who was the bridge between CAF and the United Nations Office of Counterterrorism as far back as 2019. We at the CAF established the Safety and Security Department just 3 years ago. As the pioneer head, my responsibility was to develop capacity within Africa and also to develop strategies that would enhance safety and security across our CAF tournaments, events, and competitions. So we saw the opportunity to partner with the UNOCT in the aspect of safety and security as very critical at the time that we were visiting a country, Cameroon to be precise, that we had some few concerns within the southwestern area as well as the northern area. We had very good collaboration with the support of the UNOCT. As a matter of fact, we had both the virtual support as well as the physical support. The UNOCT was able to support us in the essence of collaborating and bringing together all necessary agencies within the country of Cameroon in active collaboration to understand the risk that is available and present, as well as come up with possible mitigation measures. I must say we had very serious concern playing at the Boya-Limbe region of Cameroon. But again, we visited there physically with Valerio and all the security chiefs and came up with a strategy that helped us to deliver the games that we had within that region without an incident. We also had an issue, concern, just as has been mentioned by the lady at Garua, which is northern Cameroon. We also delivered the competition in this area peacefully without any incident, thanks to the collaboration and the support that we got from UNOCT. And I must say that this program is very important for us in Africa because it helps to bring the seriousness to the table before governments and agencies. It's something that is very needed because most of the countries rely on the police as sole source of security in terms of event organization. And we all know from experience that the police are not basically trained for major sports events organization. And as such, you find some very little mistakes, I will call it, and some very grave mistakes leading into very terrible disasters that happens. And for us to have a handbook of this nature that spells out what should be done before, during, and after an event, I think it's a great blessing to member nations. And now the job should be how to integrate this in all the plannings that are required for major sports events. Moving forward from our end, we cannot but say that we would continue to collaborate with UNOCT on this program in all our major sports events. And as I mentioned earlier, we are not just collaborating with UNOCT, we are collaborating with anyone that is able to support us to deliver a safe and secure event across Africa. And this has also, if I would mention briefly, led us in having a tripartite relationship between ICSS, UNICRI, and CAF to come up with a advanced safety and security training model, which is currently online and running. And the whole essence is to integrate, every critical stakeholders within the continent of Africa to pass on the knowledge. The knowledge is actually the key. So this program definitely will help in passing on this knowledge as much as possible to all critical stakeholders. And I think moving forward, this should be the target of the program, okay? To see how we can support the local forces in passing on the knowledge, especially for operational commanders, because this is where we have most of the challenge when we go to host an event. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Chris, for the insights provided. Indeed appreciate it. Also, moving on to the remote way of working, absolutely appreciate it. So with this, thanks to the distinguished speakers, let me close the session dedicated to the beneficiaries of the Global Sports Program and give the floor to our director, Mr. Mauro Medico. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerio. And I really wish to commend all the speakers because your strong engagement is really a stimulus for all of us to continue working and enhance our support to civil society, member states, sport federations, and whoever could be part of this journey. We have come to the last part of this 2-hour event, and that's probably the most exciting part, if I may say. We have, in fact, under the program, conceptualized a global awareness campaign that we are excited to announce today. Its title is More Than a Game, precisely because sport, it's certainly more than a game. And it can help all of us to really promote positive social-emotional learning, particularly from the youth and the young generation. We have designed this campaign to be specifically linking the very good work that so many people are doing at the grassroots level, and we just had few examples today with Caroline and with Kato, and really be able to link what is happening at the grassroots level from very different regions and involve them and these stories with the stories of champions, of athletes. And this is the ultimate goal of the campaign, to reach out as many young people as possible in the more remote areas, in the countries where we are engaging, where you are all engaging, where there are a lot of communities at serious risk of radicalization towards violent extremism and terrorism. And the idea of the campaign is rooted on the golden ticket experience, which is really to bring together the youth, the young, from the grassroots level with the sport legends and with major sporting events. And this, I think, if I may, it's the philosophy we have also learned working so closely with our partners of Qatar, the Supreme Committee, Generation Amazing, and the Ministry of Interior. It's the concept of legacy. It is really bringing not only the sport events from its security part, but ensuring that these sport events can be a message for tolerance, for peace, and for better ideology among our young people. It is with immense emotion, I have to say, that I would like to introduce the speakers of this last session. And I would like to start with a legend himself, certainly a legend for all of our generation, Yuri Djorkaeff, who is, I don't need to introduce you, Yuri, but the world champion of soccer, European champion, but an inspiration for many of us. And you are certainly now running extremely significant and important function as the Chief Executive Officer of the FIFA Foundation. And we would really wish to run this campaign hand in hand with the FIFA Foundation, particularly in the context of the fun festival that FIFA Foundation will be running as part of the World Cup here in Qatar. Yuri, I still remember your assist in the final from the corner to the head of Zinedine Zidane. And I think you can still inspire us with many of your goals and assists in a different capacity. Thank you so much for being with us, and the floor is yours. Merci encore.
Merci. Thank you very much. I would starting by saying yes. Yes, it's a great opportunity to have the World Cup in Qatar. Yes, football and sport is powerful, and yes, we can join our force to raising and educate a new generation of young and community. Since I don't want to talk about my goal. There's too many goals, and I'm not starting because there's so many different countries here. I don't want to starting to tease the Italian or Spanish people or English. Sorry, but no. But since I'm working since I took the job at the foundation, I remember my first interview or sharing word with my president, Gianni Infantino. I told him, we have a duty, we have a responsibility, because today the power of football we must use it, using for the good, using for the benefit, and not just using for FIFA or for the World Cup or for a football event, but using for the world and sharing. I think this is important. Through football, we can really bring different community, different. There's no religion, there's no sex, there's no boys on a part and a woman on a side. It's a huge community, and we must using. And since we are at the foundation, we're starting to do some implementation of programs. And the first one is the community programs, where today we are supporting 120 NGO in the world. It means that from a small ONG who are or in Cameroon or Uganda, we are supporting not just because we want to be global, but we're thinking that creating this community, we can have an impact on the society, an impact on the country, on the population, on the community and the kids. We're launching new programs now, Football for School, and Football for School, it's a national programs. It's combining the football and the education. We built an application with a partnership with UNESCO, where inside this application we have 50% of football development and 50% of life skill provided by UNESCO. And I think it's important to like we said, to go to the grassroots level. And grassroots level, it's school. It's not only school, it's community. Today we are engaged in many challenges, and we just signed a very important MOU with Generation Amazing and Qatar Foundation, because we believe that through the World Cup in this area, we can have an impact on not just in Qatar, but on many countries around Qatar, and with the help of the Qatar, we can reach our goal. Yes, football is important. Yes, football has become bigger and bigger, but we're careful about thinking about a good partnership and good collaboration. I think this is very important for not just for us. We don't want just to sign nice paper or making a good picture and be proud of yourself, but we really want to have an impact. And today, this campaign that you're going to launch is more than a game. And you know that FIFA Foundation is aware about being on the field, but be out of the field and building a community around the field. Thank you very much. And I think it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. The World Cup in Qatar is in 8 months. And after the World Cup, it's a life. It's not the end. It's the starting of something. And I think it's for that we are very happy to sign with Generation Amazing Qatar Foundation, because for us, it's the beginning of a new area. Thank you very much.
Un grand merci, Yuri. We have also said that other sports are equally important, and it is also for me, youth, you started running barefoot, and I think you are a woman of endurance, and that's endurance which made you succeed and be so much a model for so many of the young generation. Thank you for being with us, and we would like really to hear a bit from your stories. Thank you, Teko.
Thank you very much, and I want to say thank you all ambassadors for sports, for peace, and our host Qataris. Thank you for having us here. And first of all, I want to say that you have given me this opportunity, and you have talked so much, and everybody who has talked here, everybody talking about football. And I am not the odd one here. I started to play football in our school. And I broke my foot twice because I was playing with boys. And so I think I am the right place. And first of all, I come from Kenya. And I come from a community called Bogot. That's Uganda is my neighbor. and I'm really happy to see my brother here from Uganda. And I want to say that sports has changed my life. When you come from such a community whereby you come from a very conflict community where people does not want to know the place that I came from. At one point I say, I want to change our community. My brother, I just want to say that I did not run to school and I did not run to have the best performance. I wanted to be better than boys, and when I realized our community, they call me the daughter of a warlord. I say now I need to have a name. And all along, I was fighting to have a name so that I can come and talk to our government in order to see this region, that a girl from that region, there is something good that can come from that region. I really want to thank the boys that they trained with me, and I was better than them. And again, the issue of insecurity from the region that I came from, that gave me opportunity to fight. So I was the first woman to come from this community, and the county, I think, is like maybe 10 times Qatar. And to be the first person to come out is not easy. And the community that they don't allow women to go to school first, and they don't allow women to do sports. But I think I did against the odds. But what made me to be loved by my community is that I start to talk not against the community, because I was always promoting them. And when my first time to compete for the country, of course I went outside through another community name. And then I realized, hey, you know what? I think I have something to say. I say I come from that community called Bokot. And then I was dropped 3 times from national team. Why? Because I retaliate, and then I talked about my origin. I competed outside, and going outside, for African women, they always talk about these women cannot do better than European women because there are not many. But nobody knows that we never get opportunity to compete like our men. So I brought myself from a Kenyan to be African woman. And then I realized even also women in the whole world, they are not regarded like men, because when I won New York Marathon, our prize money was not the same as for men. So, but when I won New York, I was supported by the women of the world. It was not only Africa. So it opened my mind, Valerie, that I need to do beyond that. So my home in Kenya, we have a lot of conflicts. In 1994, I wanted to run for Uganda. Why? I was dropped from my country because I come from this community. I was given a lot of opportunity to run for other countries that they can offer me money. I was training in Germany. In fact, I was asked to run for Germany, England, and Italy because they were good managers that they knew my capacity. But I said, you know what? I think I will not run away from problems. But I want to see that there will be a woman from Africa that they can show the whole world that running away from problems cannot solve. I can go to Uganda so that I can make sure that the women in Africa can do more than being called the women in Africa who cannot do anything. And then it became political thing. The head of state of Kenya, that's Moi and Yoweri Museveni. Of course, Uganda wanted me to go to Uganda because they sent the Minister of Sports to our region. But the president said, no, Tekla, please, because of the pride you have, please stay. In 2003, I started to have Tegla Rurube peace race in Kavenguria. That's the region between Uganda and our region. And it was difficult, but I had a very good support with the government. I had to go to parliament to ask, I want to make a platform for politicians to come and listen to the problem for our people. For me, I realized education, when you do not have education, the youths are ready to do anything. Of course, education in my area was not that good, but I started to do campaign, telling people, study under 3. I went to school, and I did my sports, and here I have the name for our nation, and I have the world record of which nobody could know that a Kenyan or African woman can have world record. But I say I want to see that the whole world, that women from Africa, and I wanted to see also our African leaders that they should support sports, and especially for women, so that a woman is like a code. When you support a woman, they can support the entire world. But one thing I wanted to talk today is that we have a school for normal education and sports. I am really happy to hear from my brother that FIFA, together with the Qataris, that you want to support more, promote more about sports and education. When we promote more sports and education, we reduce the terrorism. Why? Our kids, our parents can understand the value of sports. Why I have this school? I have 400 kids. I started the school first with my own money. I started the peace race with my own money that I earn. And they told me, you are really a stupid tackler. Why do you want to misuse your resources? And then I said, you know what? Somebody has to start one step, and later on, other people can come and support you. Of course, the foundation has been supported by UN. I was supported by the Prince of Monaco and also my government of Kenya, because I took initiatives. And I was supported by Uganda, because I have reformed warriors from Uganda. And the government supported those reformed warriors, because when you disarm one person, you disarm the entire team. I went to Darfur together with Maximiliano, and I realized the power of sports. And that's when I changed my mind. I say, I would love to support this initiative as the ambassador. It's not because that I have my own foundation, but when you have influence somewhere, let us not be greedy. Let's support peace through sports. And we can build this part of the world. The IOC gave me opportunity to lead the refugees. I was training the refugees athletes, but for me, I did not know where to take them. I was helping them as an athlete, that I was supported by other people. But thanks to Thomas Bach, that he went to the United Nations, and he talked together with UNSCR. And now he knew the person who was staying with the refugees, and that's when he took his trip to Kenya. And he asked me, Tegla, now what you can do? You
never achieve you. You will always be winning. Thank you so much, Tegla. We have another of our legend who wanted to be with us today, but unfortunately could not be present physically, but he sent a video for his strong support. His name is Luis Figo. It's another legend of football. He was awarded the Golden Ball as best FIFA player, but Yuri never won the World Cup. So let us listen from Luis.
Good afternoon, dear friends. My name is Luis Figo. It is a pleasure to contribute to today's roundtable organized by the Global Sport Program of the United Nations Office of Counterterrorism to address this important topic of preventing violent extremism through sport values. Thanks so much for inviting me. Sport values had a profound impact upon me. It has always been a part of my life, but not only as played on the pitch. Outside in life, the values gained from playing football have been fundamental to who I am as a person. Sport has taught me important values such as fairness, team building, equality, discipline, inclusion, perseverance, and respect. These values have shown me that sport is more than just a game. Respect that positively influence community interactions because sportsmanship and teamwork lead to concrete behaviors shaped around tolerance. Participating in sport helps societal cohesion through positive communal interactions. It transcends the seeming difference between people, breaking down national barriers and cultural difference. Sport unites us. It speaks to us in a language which we can all understand. It is for this reason that sport is a powerful tool against hate narratives and violent ideologies. Violent extremism casts a dark shadow, exploited weak identities of vulnerable youth, especially when marginalized. Sport may be seen as its antithesis, acting as a light of inclusion by bringing people together and teaching them important skills and values. Sport demonstrated across decades to be a unique field for inspiring young people and empowering women in our societies. Crucially, it can teach self-reliance and resilience, boosting their leadership development and self-esteem. Individuals' social-emotional learning based on sport values is critical for cognitive skills development and fostering consciousness, which are critical for tolerant and positive behaviors. The most effective remedy to defend youth from the causes of violent extremism and negative messaging. As a role model for so many, I decided to join this cause as I am fully aware not only of the powerful values of sport, but also the ability to convey this message to mass audience. This United Nations Global Sport Program awareness campaign for preventing violent extremism will convey the compelling values of sport to the global community. I know that sport can change the world and help to bring about peace. My support for this campaign is driven by my great passion for sport and youth, something which has impacted my life for the better and which I know can positively influence our societies. Peace and security face continued threats, yet sport and its values has an enormous capacity in peace building, preventing violent extremism, and can be an important building block in building a better world. Allow me to reiterate, sport is more than just a game. Thank you to listen to me, and I wish you all a good day.
Many thanks to Luis. We really need, Luis, your excellent dribbling skills to support us in this campaign. I would like now to go to our last sport legend. It's my great honor as well to introduce Tim Cahill, who is here with us. Tim, you also don't need an introduction. You have been playing in 3 World Cups. You were the first Australian to score. And, well, you lost against Italy, but we won that time, unfortunately, and now we are out. But you scored a goal which was selected among those to be awarded the best World Cup goal. I preferred yours, but James won it. But you are really a great inspiration for all of us. Thank you for joining us, and please, the floor is yours.
Firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone in the room. It's been really refreshing to sit and listen and taking all the information and understandings from different countries throughout the world. I prepared some notes, but I think I'm going to go a little bit off hand, because I think here you talk about sport, football, and what it can do to change the world. But kids need to belong to something. Kids without parents, kids without guidance, with directions, without homes. And I'm fortunate enough, my mum's from Samoa, a little island in the Pacific Islands, Tufiopa, a village. I was very fortunate enough to have an experience to see what it's like not to need a mobile phone, to see what it's like not to rely on TVs, and to be happy with the sand, the plantation, the sun, and what land has to offer. My dad's from England. I grew up in Australia, and we rented our whole lives. So it was difficult, very difficult to, become a professional footballer. And the reason why I want to say this is because I was told I was never going to be a professional footballer. I was too small, not strong enough. Samoans don't play football. And I want to share this story because at 16, my parents got a loan. They flew me to England. I trialled. I waited months and months to get the opportunity. And in the end, I got the contract. But it wasn't a contract. I wanted to be a pioneer. I wanted to be someone that could create pathways for boys and girls in the future to know what it would be like for someone like me to be a professional. I played at the highest level. I didn't win a World Cup, but what I did do along the way, I went to strategic countries along my journey. America, China, India, Australia. I played in the Olympic Games, Asian Cups, Oceania, 4 World Cups. And everywhere I went, in every country I went to, I created grassroots programs. I made sure we opened schools in communities. I made sure that we left something. And I think the nicest thing here is when I retired, I made the conscious decision to work in Qatar. Beautiful country since 2010, traveling here, lost the Asia Cup final in 2011. And to hear these inspiring stories from so many different people within the room, and Tegla, especially yours, is amazing because I belonged to my family. I knew my why. I belonged to a badge, the football clubs I played for. And with this, kids can belong to a community that can change lives. And with that is grassroots, education, real input into how that can work. I'm now the Chief Sports Officer of Aspire Academy. In sports, not football, I make sure now that I can help to write the syllabus and go into schools in Qatar in 2023 and to really implement just taking part. Let's forget about the professionalism and let's think about the generational change of what we can do to give back. So for me, I focus more on becoming a role model. I've said to Yuri from the start when he invited me to Lebanon, it was a pleasure, but not a pleasure to be a commercialized sort of person that needs to be in the front row, but someone behind that can give some strategic structure to purpose. Generation Amazing, the last 2 years doing the projects that we've done in Qatar Foundation. So I just wanted to just say thank you. Thank you to everyone, and thank you to the people that are not here for making a change and also keeping each other accountable to follow up with this change and to support, because we don't only need to support our own countries, we need to support each other, and that comes from being involved in discussions like this. So Yuri, Nasser and everyone here, distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, it's a pleasure to listen and to take in an amazing afternoon. Thank you, shukran.
Many thanks, Tim. I think you refer to the sense of belonging. I think there is probably no better words to then introduce Nasser, our dear partner, friend and colleague, Mr. Nasser Al-Khoury, who is program director at Generation Amazing. I think the sense of belonging is really what brings all of you, including the sense of belonging to the aspiration of a better world. Thank you for being with us, Nasser, and you will be closing this event as our co-organizer and dearest partner for that. Thank you, Nasser.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and honor to be here today. I just would like to thank all the organizing members of this very important event and just partnership in general. And just to say, thank you to Massimiliano as well and ICSS for, again, involving us in this partnership, as I mentioned. And as Yuri mentioned, we're very excited that we have announced the partnership between FIFA Foundation, Generation Amazing Foundation, and Qatar Foundation yesterday. And we look forward to doing more football for development and sports for development programs leading up to the World Cup, but also going beyond 2022 and using this World Cup as an example for other nations to host major sporting events in the future, to look at legacy and most importantly, looking at the human and social legacy programs like Generation Amazing and the work that FIFA Foundation do. So just a little bit about Generation Amazing. We started in the early stages of the bid in 2010. Generation Amazing was established, and currently we're in over 25 countries. We have built over 32 pitches and safe spaces for community members, mainly disenfranchised populations and marginalized youth globally. We started in Jordan, looking at refugee populations in Jordan from Syria and Palestine. We've expanded to India, Nepal. Currently we're also in Rwanda, about to launch a community club in Rwanda in partnership with the government of Rwanda, which is very exciting. And as a legacy program from the World Cup, the idea is that we go beyond 2022, as I mentioned, and partnerships, obviously with UN agencies, but also with other NGOs like FIFA Foundation and other organizations, NGOs globally. I think this is where we can really create a bigger impact and a sustainable impact as well. I think generally within the Football for Development movement or sector in terms of development, there's a lot of support from federations, from FIFA, from other federations like CAF, AFC, etc. And then also I think just bringing everything into a circle in something like the campaign and the work that we're doing with UNOCT and other agencies, I think this is really important. It's really an honor and a privilege, and I just want to say thank you again for this, and it's been amazing being part of, again, working on the guidebook as well, and having contributed to that, and being a national focal point as well on this partnership has brought a lot of value to the work that we do at Generation Amazing. And I think we're very excited to host the World Cup this year, and the legacy will go beyond 2022, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nasser. Thanks to all of you for your patience and attendance. Thanks to the interpreter, and have a good evening. Thank you.